Hi Stella Griffins. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how this new gradebook works. I know we've been getting a lot of questions and I want to explain to you a little bit how this month is going to work so that you can do your best work and be successful this month. So really how it works depends on how you have been keeping up with your work during the month of April. There may be two categories. If you're one of the students that's like, not really, I didn't really turn in work or do much work in April, then lucky for you, you're gonna get a fresh start, and so you're gonna feel like, phew, good thing. I'm gonna get a fresh start. I'm gonna take advantage of it. If you have been doing your work in the month of April, then lucky for you, you're gonna start this new gradebook with a lot of extra credit, and so it's a pretty sweet deal for you. And so I'm gonna go through both scenarios. If you are one of the ones that are starting with a fresh, clean slate, your gradebook right now might say nothing, your distance learning gradebook. So you'll see that you might have more than one gradebook per subject, per teacher. You have to look at the one that says distance learning gradebook. And your distance learning gradebook might say nothing right now. It also might say 0%. Don't worry, that doesn't mean you're starting with a 0. It just means that you have nothing in your gradebook right now, and so it's just starting at 0, but as soon as you turn your first assignment, it's gonna adjust, okay? So this new distance learning gradebook is a little different from our normal Stella gradebook. Normally, our assessments count for 90%, and the classwork, homework, and participation counts for 10%. In this gradebook, our performance and our participation is 50-50. So this 50-50 is gonna really help you out. If I were you and you were in this boat, I would make sure there's only 4 weeks in May, and each teacher's only giving 2 assignments per week. I would take advantage and do both of those and do my best on both of those and turn in my best work every week. And so what it will look like is, let's say in the first week, you turn it. Okay, and so on top of that, if you go to office hours, we are going to give you extra credit on top of your regular participation points for going to office hours for that class. And so on top of that, you can get every week up to 1 extra credit point for every class subject for which you are attending office hours in a meaningful way. And so if you look at this, after a whole month with these 8 assignments in the month, you might have an average of 66%, which isn't that great. It's kind of in the middle for performance. But in your participation grade, because you have 4 extra credit points, you're supposed to have 8 points total if you turn in everything. But on top of that, you have 4 more. You get 12 out of 8. And so you're going to have 150% participation. And we are weighting those equally, 50-50. So if you average 66 and 150, you're going to have a final grade of 108%. So you see that this participation grade is really helping boost your grade as long as you're doing your best to turn in your work and attend office hours. Now, if you are starting with extra credit because you did some work in April and that was transferred to your new gradebook, then you right now are going to start with 100% in your gradebook, or in some cases more than 100%. And so I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. So we transferred your work from April and converted them into up to 4 extra credit points. And you might say that's not very much, but 4 extra credit points right now gives you 400% in your gradebook. And that is a lot. Most students didn't get a full 4 points though, unless they had a perfect gradebook in April. And so on average, students have a lot of students got close to 2.5 extra credit points from April. And so that still means you're starting with 250% extra credit in your grade, which is really high. Your Illuminate might say just 100%, but in effect, that's really how much buffer you're starting with. But I wouldn't, don't be careful. Don't just think, oh, I have such a high grade, 250%. I got this. I don't have to do anything the rest of the month. I'm going to still have a very high grade. Be careful, because with every week that more assignments are added, that extra credit is not going to give as much buffer as it did at the beginning. You might be like, huh? How is that fair? What does that even mean? I'm going to show you in a minute, but think of it like this. If a family has 1 child, that one child is the focus of the whole family, right? But if there's a that family gets in the second one, third one, maybe fourth. By the fourth, that first child is not the only focus. Now it's divided among all 4 children. And so that first child is still loved and is still there. The first child hasn't changed, but now they have to kind of divide the time up, or the resources or what have you, up among all of them there. So right now, this extra credit might look really big because there's nothing else there on the plate. But by the time we add more assignments, that extra credit, that 2.5, is going to be still there, but among many other points. And so it's not going to have as big of an effect. It still will have quite a positive effect, though. I'm going to show you what that looks like. All this goes to say, don't just rely on the extra credit. You need to continue to do your work consistently in order to maintain your high grade. Okay, so let's say after the first week you turn in 2 assignments, you got an 8 and a 7, and you got your 2 extra credit points. Your 2 participation points for turning in those assignments. You're still going to have your 2.5 extra credits that you got from April. And so you're going to have 75% in your performance, but you're going to have 270% for participation. So therefore, you're going to have an overall grade of 175%, which is a very high score. Look at what happens to this 175% every week as we add more assignments. So at first it was 175. After week 2, let's say there's 2 more assignments, and so now it went to 111%. We added 2 more assignments, turned them in. After the 3rd week, got all my points, and now I'm at 101%. And then the last week, 4th week, I turned in an assignment with an 8 out of 10 and a 9 out of 10 and got my 2 extra credit points. And my overall grade is now 101%. And so, it's 98.5%. And so that's still a very good grade. And because this student was turning in their work every week and getting their full participation points, and was not just turning in something that was barely, that was just half-hearted. Now, but the extra credit is going to become more reasonable and more leveled, or what's the word? The extra credit is going to become kind of evened out as the weeks go by. So don't just depend on that. So the moral of the story, if you are one that is having a fresh start in one of your subjects' gradebooks, take advantage of this opportunity. Turn in all your assignments with your best effort this month, and as much as possible attend office hours so that you can get those extra credit points and that help so that you can make sure you're learning and doing what you need to, getting what you need to get out of these assignments. If you're one of the students that are starting with extra credit, that's sweet, but don't rely only on your extra credit. Make sure you continue to do your work and continue to stay on top of it. And that's how it's gonna work. All right, good luck, Griffins. Let me know if you need any help.